Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you've become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama Strategy Session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama Strategy Session.
Beautiful friend, welcome back to Emotionally Healthy Legacy. Do you hate your body after having kids? Do you struggle looking at yourself in the mirror and feeling like, oh, I wish I could have my body back, and just saying all unpleasant and unkind things to yourself because you just don't like the way you look and feel physically? Well, I have a treat for you. Today, I invited Megan to the podcast, and you get to listen to our wonderful conversation about what does the Bible say about our bodies and loving our bodies physically and taking care of them in a God-honoring way. So I am excited to introduce Megan to you. Megan has her own podcast. It's called Self Care Simplified, which is amazing. So you can go check it out. She is a certified strength and conditioning trainer and a nutrition coach who is passionate about helping moms love and thrive in their God-given bodies. So if this is something that you resonate with, tune in into this podcast episode. You will find it super, super helpful. I also want to let you know that I put together an amazing resource for you. If you find yourself consumed with shame and guilt after experiencing rage with your kids, feeling like this evil person takes over you, that you're saying and doing things that you have so much remorse over, you feel like you're the worst mom in the world, you cry yourself to sleep, and you just cannot believe you did all those hurtful things to your kids. You feel like you're messing them up for life. I have a gift for you. In the show note, there's all the way scroll down to the bottom. There's a section over there that says 5 steps to break free from Mom Rage Shame, and it's a free resource that I recorded for you. It's a free training, and it has a PDF that comes with it, a workbook, and you get to work through all that shame and guilt and reflect on it, and it teaches you how to move past it in a God-honoring way. So if this is something you relate with, go check it out in the show notes. It is completely free, and you can get full access to that if you leave me a review on the podcast, a rating and a review. It's pretty easy to do. Just scroll down a little bit. When you see all the episodes, scroll down a little bit, and there's a section over there. Write a review, leave me a rating, and take a screenshot. And when you open up that link for you to get the free resource, it's going to lead you to upload your screenshot of the rating and the review. And then you get the link to access the free training. My friend, let's welcome Megan to Emotionally Healthy Legacy podcast, and can't wait for you to listen to this episode. Hi, Megan. Yeah. I am so happy that we are doing this podcast together. So welcome to Emotionally Healthy Legacy.
Thank you so much. I am really, really excited about this conversation today.
All right, Megan, my icebreaker question for you. What is something that you've been loving lately?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. So I know we were chatting earlier about where we live, and you live in Florida, which is, the land of one season, which is beautiful. But I live way up in North Idaho, which is the land of 5 seasons. We have winter, spring, summer, fall, but we also have a 5th season, which is mud season. And so we're actually right in the middle of mud season right now. And it's not that I'm loving that, but I love living up in North Idaho. It's absolutely beautiful and it's peaceful. And there's something about being able to walk out your door and not see another house for like 10 minutes before you, go on a walk for 10 minutes. You're basically on a hike the moment you open your door. And I just love the vistas and the rivers and the mountains. And I just have been basking in God's majesty up here in North Idaho. So yeah, definitely loving it.
Oh, that's awesome. I do like to go, like when we go on vacation or something where there isn't that many people, and just like you come outside and it's just stillness and quiet and peace. Oh, I just love to take that in. It just like, I soak it in. In our yard, we just have trees and it's fenced, but like there's trees, there's no houses right behind us. So like I will sit in our yard and just watch the trees and the leaves and the wind and the birds. And it's just so peaceful and calming. I do not like the hectic, busy. I could never live in the city. Like, no, thank you. You'd have to pay me to live there.
Yeah, same. I've lived in Seattle, I've lived in Portland, and this is actually full circle because I grew up in North Idaho. And so I moved away, kind of in my younger years, and it's taken me until my late 30s to realize that the little podunk North Idaho is actually a gem. And there's a reason they call Idaho the gem state. And it's this hidden gem. And it's that like basking in nature. And I love, there's this whole new thing recently called taking a forest bath. Have you heard of this?
No.
Speaking of stress relieving, oh my goodness. Like it's basically the benefits of just walking through a forest has like this physical impact on your body. And they're calling it taking a forest bath. And I just love that. I love it. There's something so powerful about just being in nature.
For sure. 100%. Okay. This is great. And now we're going to get into our podcast episode. So Megan, she is a Christian and a believer, and she helps Christian moms, but her podcast is called Self Care Simplified, and she is a personal trainer. And I would love for you to share a little bit about your story, how you got where you are today.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist and a nutrition coach. And way back in 2006, I got my degree in exercise science. So I jumped into this like straight as my career. I know a lot of trainers, this will kind of be like a second career sometime down the line, but In the beginning, I wanted to work with athletes and train athletes and do like athletic performance development. And unfortunately, what compelled me to do that was my own frustration for my own body. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was like, if I could figure out the most scientific ways to get as lean as possible and to turn my body into a machine, so I finally loved my body, let's do that. And I kind of covered it with this mask of, science and this mask of professionalism. But I think deep down underneath everything, it was just this drive to finally figure out how to love my body. And it kind of led me down this path of, I was a marathoner for years, and I trained really hard, like high level training and extreme stuff. And it just got to the point where like I was hurting my body. I wasn't taking care of it. And food was the enemy and exercise was the weapon I was using against that enemy. And it was just this really poor relationship. And that all got muddied once again when I had my boys. I'm a boy mom, so that's crazy. But what that did to my body during those years of being pregnant and then afterward and trying to figure out like, this is like an alien body now. Now I really don't like it. And so that kind of led me full circle. And that was really the working of God in my heart to finally get to a place of, I can confidently say that not only am I treating my body well, but I do love it. And I really appreciate what it is. And I no longer treat it with disdain or train it out of this desire to change it all the time and finally push it to love it, or push it to a level where I'll finally love it. And so the women that I work with on a daily basis are women a lot like me, whether they come from a place of high performance or a place of, I've just never been an athletic person. And because of that, like, I hate my body too. And so I work with women that are frustrated with their bodies. They're frustrated with the process of trying to get healthier and trying to feel better in their body. It's always super overwhelming. It's so vanity driven often. And it's really discouraging. And so the women I coach, they either don't love their body for one reason or another, maybe because they are experiencing pain, achiness, just this lack of energy, maybe a betrayal. I've heard women say that where they feel like their body has betrayed them, like they tried. They feel like they put the effort in and their body didn't respond. Women that have zero confidence, zero strength, zero hope in their body. And unfortunately, they're trying to muster up this sense of self-love and positive body image for a body that doesn't feel good. And it's like this pretend self-love or pretend positive body image. But when you're at the heart of it, really disgusted and frustrated with what you see in the mirror, that's just fake. It's a fake version of self-love. So those are the women that I spend my time working with.
Wow. Well, thank you for telling us that. And I'm glad there's people like that out there like you, because I know that's not an area of my expertise. I think it's almost like I've never really like hated my body. I've never really loved it either. It's more like it's there. I know I gave birth to 4 healthy kids and my body has changed a lot. I feel like before kids, my body was like, it looked toned. I didn't have to work out. It just looked toned and it looked like I work out. But then I had kids. And then because I'm petite and small and my belly really stretched, and then it came back, like I had my kids, but my belly never got back to where it used to be. I feel like I look bloated and like 4 months pregnant, especially after I eat a meal. I've even had people congratulate me that I'm pregnant when I wasn't, which like makes you feel like even worse. But I understand why, because I truly do look a little bit pregnant because I'm, bloated a little bit. And that's just, my stomach just won't get toned and flat like it used to be. And I have a really hard time just like loving that part of my body. Like it's like I'd rather like not even look there. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because like my body used to be that way and then it changed a lot. And so you believe that women tell themselves lies about their bodies. That's one of the things that you teach. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, there are some big lies that we kind of all have this running dialogue, this running like talk that's going through our brain, and these things are not true. And the first thing is that our body is not meeting the beauty standards. And because of that, your body and you in particular are less desirable than others. And so this is a lie that has to do with your aesthetics. This is how you look. This is the way clothes look on you. This is how your body looks naked. We have so many programs out there that are designed to, make you look great naked. And that's really attractive because we feel like I want my body to match up to the beauty standards. Having a mommy tummy, that belly pooch, like that's not lovely. But wait, who says that's not lovely? Like that is, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a second, but that who is setting those beauty standards other than this like small handful of people in our culture? Maybe, I don't know who, not God. He's not saying that. He designed your body. So that is a lie that we tell ourselves, is just that our body is less desirable than others because it doesn't meet the beauty standards. And then a second lie that we tell ourselves is that it's a functional lie. And this has to do with the fact that your body is not meeting the standards of how a body is supposed to function or work. And this is different than aesthetics. This is about how your body operates. When you look at your body and you say, my body is weak, I'm injured, I'm scarred somehow, I'm broken in some way, I have constant allergies, whatever it might be. And this is also that abdominal thing. A lot of moms, what you're probably experiencing and don't realize it, is that as you are pregnant, your belly expands and your abdominal muscles have to spread, and that's called diastasis recti. And 100% of pregnancies experience this. And the majority of women following pregnancy have to do very specific types of activity or specific types of exercises to encourage those sides of your abdominals to return back together. And if they don't, you feel and look like you're still pregnant. And that is a functional issue. That is something that can be corrected. That is something that can be fixed. And unfortunately, a lot of women don't realize, like, oh my gosh, why do I still look pregnant 4 years later? It's like, well, because your abdominals are not functioning the way that they were designed to function. And so in the back of our minds, we're like, well, I'm not matching up. My body is broken now, not just beauty wise. It just feels like it's broken in its own ways. And so that's another lie that we tell ourselves, that we're broken and we're not functioning. And then the final one is a lie about living in the past. We are so guilty of this as moms, is just like, we look back and we think, well, my body used to be so much better, and I need to somehow get back to that. We live with this nostalgia for how wonderful our body used to be. I used to be toned. I used to have a flatter stomach. I used to be able to do this, or, we reminisce about workouts that we used to be able to do. Like, remember that one time I trained for that half marathon? And I feel like so many of us women have this like half marathon story in our back pocket. And we try to like go back to that and try to relive those days. And we're just living in this past, but this is this negative thought pattern once again of this lie of your body used to be better and now it's worse. So these are these big lies that are swirling around in our brains as women, and it's damaging us, and it really is impacting our ability to just move forward.
Oh, wow. I feel like you're speaking to me, all three of those I can resonate with. And I did, so I finished college as a PT assistant, physical therapist assistant, and I worked as a PTA for a while. And I've worked with like patients with diastasis recti, and I know what to do, and I've done exercises with it. And even when I had my last C-section, my my surgeon said she sewed up the muscles, at least the ones that go up to the belly button from the bottom.
Oh, wow.
And I've done exercises on it. And like my diastasis recti is very minor, maybe like a finger now. And still my stomach is bulging. And I think that is like what it, like you were talking about, like I compare my body to what it
Yeah.
used to be pre-kids, and it seemed really perfect back then. And it's still so hard for me to just like accept it the way it is now, like for how God created it, and like for it to just be thankful for where it is now and not want to like force change it. You know,
For
I
sure.
think there's a difference between like loving and caring for yourself and like working towards, improvement. And like you said, like you used to like punish your body because you hated the way that it was. So what are some of those lies that we can replace with some of the truths? Like, what does the Bible say about it? Because I personally like feel like, well, not that I've noticed too many verses that specifically speak on our bodies, besides it being the temple of God. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, this idea as women, how like frustrated and just at the center of everything seems like this goes all the way back to the garden. If you think about it, the very first time that shame ever came on the scene had to do with a naked body. That is Satan's favorite vehicle for delivering shame. That was the first time a human being ever experienced shame, and it had to do with their naked body. And guess what also was in the picture? Food. It's like this nasty triangle of shame and naked body and food. It was the fruit that they weren't supposed to eat, and there was like this temptation. And it's just like since the beginning, it's always been this way. But one of the most, and this kind of makes me emotional when I think about it, but one of the most beautiful full circle moments is if you think about when Christ was hanging on the cross. We see in pictures like, oh, he had this like little loincloth on. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He was bare naked. Why would they cover them on the cross? Of course, he was bare naked, and it said he bore our shame. And that's that full circle moment of like that shame that started in the garden that had to do with our bodies. Christ took care of it on the cross. And, just when we recognize the full extent of what he did for us, it's huge, right? And so when he says, I bought your body, you were bought with a price, not just your soul, but your entire you, everything that makes you, including your body. Guess what he paid for that? He paid for it with his own naked body. And I think when we start to recognize that and realize like, wow, we have this new self. We are a new creation in Christ. Colossians says that we are a new self. And with our old self, everything that is attached with that old self are things like slander and wrath and malice and abusive speech. How often do we have abusive speech about our own self? We look in the mirror and see our belly and abuse that. And we are angry. We slander. We have wrath towards our bodies. We show up to workouts to punish it. That is our old self. That is not our new self. That is not who we are in Christ. And so once you start looking through this lens, you see scriptures all throughout the Bible that talk about how valuable our bodies actually are. And this is huge to start to make these connections with the truth of who we are as a new creation in Christ.
Oh, wow. I have not thought about it like that at all. I think you just blown my mind. And especially what you said about Jesus on the cross, like that just really touched me because I never thought about it from like that perspective. of course they wanted him feel even more ashamed, and that makes so much sense. Wow. Thank you for saying that. I think a lot of us are like, wow, I don't even have words to speak. It's just like, it just like blew my mind right now.
Yeah, I think once you start to put the pieces together, I mean, that's the beauty of the whole gospel story, is that it intertwines, it affects every aspect of our lives, every single aspect of our lives, and especially our body. And I think as women, as moms, we feel like our body is in a different category. We feel like it kind of lives in this other category of self-care. Like, yeah, I'll get around to it. Yeah, I don't like it, but like, that's not important right now. Like, no, that is a piece of everything. And once you start to recognize like it's all intertwined, and how you show up today and care for your body today, it does matter. It really, really does matter. And so other ways that we can start to replace those lies that are living in our brain is, one small way is to just start to notice every small victory and celebrate it like crazy. And I have this client that I work with, and she reached out to me just a couple of weeks ago, and she was so discouraged, and she's been working so consistently and just very dedicated to getting herself, like getting her body back in shape. She has, I think, 6 kids. And she's like, I feel like I've been working so hard, but the scale has not changed. And I'm starting to get really discouraged with all of my efforts. Hey, my friend, what I need you to do is pull out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down every single change you have experienced already. And the list was long. Things like, my posture is better. I don't have as much pain in my back and hips anymore. I feel like my core is engaging better. My clothes fit better. When I wrap my towel around me after I get out of the shower, it reaches further. I feel like I have more energy throughout the day. I'm more clear-minded. I'm like, oh my goodness, look at how long this list is. And the only thing in the other column, in the negative column, is that the number on the scale has not budged. Look at all of this evidence that what you are doing is working, and we have got to start celebrating all of these other things. We have been conditioned to only care about what the scale says and completely overlook the other positive benefits that are going on in our life. So another way that we can really work on overcoming these lies is to start to get our eyes off of ourselves. Like, start complimenting other people for their strength, for their confidence, for their posture, for, like, start to like really notice the beauty of other people in your life and what that does. And it really will bounce back and change your own perspective of how valuable your body is. I remember there was a moment when I was in college and I was really, really at my lowest, and like, I dabbled with bulimia and I dabbled with anorexia because I was just in this really dark place, very depressed place. And there was one day where I just kind of like woke up and started noticing other women I would walk by, other college students that I would walk by that just looked so happy and so positive, and like they were glowing. And it had nothing to do about their physical appearance. It was just this presence about them. And I wanted to just walk up to them and be like, do you realize how beautiful you are? And like, the beauty was so much more than just like, oh, you have a hot body. It had nothing to do with that. The beauty had everything to do with this glow that was just like emanating off of them. And if we can start to compliment others on that glow, that beauty that's so multidimensional, has nothing to do with like aesthetics, like how much more is that going to reflect the way we start to think about ourselves? And then the final way to kind of overcome our negative thoughts is to actually be proactive and find solutions to anything on your body that's not working right. So often we go about our days and be like, oh, my back hurts. My hips hurt. I have sciatica. I have SI joint issues. My knee is always in pain. If dysfunction is an issue, be an active participant in your healing process. One of my favorite stories of healing from the Bible. It was when Jesus healed a blind man, and he healed many blind people, but there was this one in particular where he spat on the ground. He made that little mud and he wiped it on the blind man's eyes. This was a whole process. And then he could have in that moment said, okay, now I'll wipe it off and you'll be able to see. But what did he do? He said, now I need you to go to the pool of Siloam. And I think that was the one. And I need you to wash off. Like, this man had to take an active part in his own healing process. Like, he couldn't just sit by and be like, I just am going to wait for Jesus to take care of all these aches and pains, or to take care of my blindness and just wait for it to happen. Jesus said, you need to participate with me. I am willing to heal you, but you got to do the work too. And I think a lot of us women are like, I'm just going to sit and complain about my back pain. And I can't tell you how many women I have trained where I'm like, after 2 days of the right movements, the right core exercises, it is gone. And it's not as hard as you might think it is. But you just have to take that first step and actually do the work.
I love it. I love that you said that it's not just like passive. We can't just, sit there and complain and wish for it to go away and not take any ownership. And I speak to that with my mamas as well. I'm like, the things that you're dealing with, even like the anger and frustration, there are things that are out of your control that you just surrender to God. And there are things that are in your control that you need to take action about. No one's going to get up in the morning a little bit before the family and start the morning off for you. Like, you have to do that, to set phone boundaries on your phone so you don't scroll, staying up too late, to prep for the week ahead with meals and stuff. Like, you have to do that to support yourself. That is something that is in your control that you need to take action on, and then give up to God what only he can do, So well said. So most of us don't think that our relationship with Christ will affect our view of our bodies as moms and women. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it has a huge bearing. The bigger Christ is in our life, the less we are. I love when John the Baptist said that, may he increase and I decrease. But what this doesn't mean is that our bodies take the back seat. I think that, back in the days of, monkish life where it was like, and there was this whole, was it Gnosticism? I can't remember, but there's all this like sects of Christianity that were all about like punishing your body and making like kind of putting it into submission in a way because you felt like your body was not valuable at all. So like, that's not at all the case here. It's putting your body on the proper shelf. We need to make sure that our body is not on the shelf of it's all about me. It's all about my vanity. It's how much I love or hate my body, where we are so inward focused, where all of our thoughts are curved inward onto ourselves. And we place our body on the proper shelf of Christ bought this. He paid for this body. And my body is a part of my relationship with Christ. And because of that, I am going to do whatever I can do to take care of this well and to keep it healthy and effective for as long as I possibly can. And I love, love, love that word effective, because it kind of changes our mindset of what self-care is all about. We think, healthy, strong, but effective has this, it insinuates that it's others focused. And I have talked to so many women that are like, I have been called into action to do something for someone else, and I had to say no, because my body, I just knew I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the strength to do it. My back wasn't in a healthy place to do it. And like, I never want to have my body get in the way of serving other people or having to hesitate to foster a relationship with my kids more. Yesterday I was at the beach. We have this beautiful lake here in northern Idaho, and the sun was shining, and we went to the beach on the lake, and I was with my 9-year-old son, and we were running down the beach, and I did not have to hesitate because I have taken care of my body, and it is part of that relationship. And I just know that so many women have neglected caring for their bodies, and it's rendering them physically ineffective. And I don't want to say any of that in a way of like, shame on you, or you should have done better. We have enough of those should thoughts swirling through our brain. But I think just starting to realize it's time that I put my body on a different shelf in my life. And it's on the shelf of, I really want to be healthy and strong for as long as I can be. And it's not too late to do that.
Thank you. That is so well said. I heard a quote the other day and I thought, this is so good. Your kids are not your excuse, they are your reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me think of when you said that you were running around with your son on the beach, because if you did neglect, taking care of your body, you maybe would be obese and would have so much aches and pains in your 30s, and you wouldn't be able to, go run after your son like that. And so we have to think about also like, not just like for us, but how is this again serving others around us and the relationships? Like, because I want to be around when my kids have grandkids and be able to take care of them and not just be exhausted and winded 5 minutes in.
Right.
And what helps you get there is literally taking care of yourself.
Yeah. What you do today is going to determine whether or not you're going to be able to do that 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And we like to think so. We like to be so short-sighted of, I don't want to do this today. I'm not in the mood to do this today. I don't feel like it. It's not going to move the needle. It's not going to lose the 5 pounds that I want to lose. But think bigger picture. Like, how does getting up and doing the thing today impact how your body is going to be able to move and function many years from now? And one of my main programs that I have, it's called Jumpstart 30. And I just help people get the ball rolling with their routines. And one of the very first things we do before we even start, I have them go through this exercise where they need to write down their why. And they literally have to think through, like, they are not allowed to skip over this part. Like, we can't get started until you know why this is important to you. And it's so fun reading what women's whys are when they actually stop and think about it. And the majority of them, I would say that 90% of the whys that moms are writing down is, I want to be able to play with my kids. I want to be there for my kids. I want to be able to take care of my family for years to come. I want to have the energy to, and so at the heart of it, like, it really, I think a lot of us really identify with that and realize, like, yeah, that is really a big driving, motivating factor for why this is important to me.
For sure. Because I know that would be my why, is I want to have the energy to play with my kids. And, when they're teenagers, and even like little one right now, to run after her, my a 1.5-year-old daughter, she's so fast. She is so fast. And she thinks it's the funniest thing when you tell her to come here. She like thinks she should run away. And she just like goes, and she runs so fast. And if somebody leaves the front door unlocked, she'll open the door and she'll just like go. And
Bolt.
She sees me going after her, and she's smiling and laughing, and she's just running. And I have to run to catch up with her. And I want to be able to have the energy to be with my kids and play with them and not feel like completely exhausted at 2 p.m. And so that is a really, really important why. What is a word of encouragement for a mama who really struggles with her body after having kids? Maybe even the mama that feels like her body is ugly and maybe even disgusting after having kids. What is something that you want her to hear right now?
I think it's really helpful to know that, like, part of being human is to collect scars. It's just part of what it's like to be a human being. And, Jesus himself still bears the scars of what he went through for us. And, we will get resurrected bodies someday, whether or not those still have scars on them. I don't know. I've often wondered why Jesus's resurrected body still had his scars. Maybe that was really important that he kept his because of the impact, or because of what that represents. I love that, just to remember, like, our bodies will have scars. They will tell stories. And so to try to change the way we see those changes on our bodies as a story and not as something that's ugly, not as something that lessens our value, not as something that makes us less lovely, but as more of a story, and to focus your attention on making yourself as effective as possible, regardless of what the look is or the outcome. Like say, like my body, okay, I feel it's disgusting, but at the same time, it's not functioning very well. Let's focus on that. Because that you can heal. You can heal your core. You can restore function. You can get rid of pain. You can experience hope again. And who knows what will happen aesthetically to your body along the way. I don't know. We might lose some weight. We might tone up. But if all of your focus is on, let me restore the function of my body and do what I can do, whatever is in my own power to be that active participant in this process, and just let the rest lie in God's hands and recognize like this, I'm going to get a new body someday. That's going to be cool. Who knows what that's going to look like. And maybe the way my body is supposed to look like does actually have a belly. How do I know that that's not what it's supposed to be? And so we have to leave those things into God's hands and say, what is in my control? It's making sure that my body is functioning the best it can be.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you so much for so much wisdom and just wise, I think, like mentorship and guidance for mamas that are struggling in this area of their lives. I know that it was helpful for me to even have this conversation with you. Thank you so much. What is the next step for our listeners to connect with you? You have a podcast, a Self Care Simplified. What else?
Yeah, I think a really great place to step in and start working with me for free is I have a 5-day core tune-up. I know that we mentioned core quite a bit. I think for us women, there's something about our core. It's like this piece on our body that's just like, we're never satisfied with it. Like we always want to fix it or make it better. And I want to step in and help you do that in the right way. And so with my free 5-day core tune-up, it's like a little mini course. I'm just going to lead you through the very, very best functional core exercises that you can trust are not going to hurt your core. They're not going to be too much. We're going to work on everything in a multidimensional way in less than 10 minutes a day. So that is like the best place that women can start working with me is with my 5-day core tune-up. So I'll make sure that you've got the link for that.
Yeah, and we'll put that in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here, Megan. It was an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Beautiful friend, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Here are the takeaways from this interview. Our bodies were created by God and they are beautiful. The devil wants you to compare yourself with your past and others to keep you stuck where you are right now. Number 2, Jesus took the shame on the cross. We are a new creation in Christ. Number 3, turn your attention to small victories instead of focusing on the things that you are not changing. And number 4, come up with your why. Why do you want to take care of your body? In the show notes, you're going to find all the ways that you can connect with Megan and take the next step. She has a wonderful Instagram account that has really great tips about supporting your body physically and just moving your body and stretching and exercising. So if that's your jam, go check it out, and a great resource for you in the show notes. Thank you so much for showing up and being with me in this podcast episode. Until next time.
Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.